Does your heart sink a little when you realize your 10-year-old might not be telling you the whole truth again? That quiet thud in your chest when you ask a simple question and the answer you get just doesn't quite line up with what you suspect or what you later find out to be true. It's a tough spot, isn't it? That feeling when the trust you've worked so hard to build feels a bit wobbly, and you're left wondering why this is happening, what it means, and what on earth you're supposed to do about it when it feels like it's becoming a regular pattern. It's so easy to jump to frustration, to feel a mix of disappointment, maybe even a little anger or worry. And those feelings are completely understandable. Truly they are. But today, I want us to gently pull back from those immediate reactions, just for a little while. Instead of getting caught in a cycle of accusations or lectures, which, let's be honest, rarely seem to get us where we want to go, we're going to explore this together. We're not here to label our kids as liars, or to feel like we failed as parents. Far from it. This isn't about judgment, not for our children, and certainly not for ourselves. It's about cultivating a real desire to understand what might be going on in the heart and mind of our 10-year-olds when they choose to bend the truth, or sometimes outright invent a new one. Our focus today, right here in our Family Connection Hub, is to delve into some practical and deeply compassionate ways to understand and navigate this challenging phase. We want to find paths forward that actually strengthen your bond with your child, that rebuild and reinforce trust, rather than creating more distance or defensiveness. It's about fostering an environment where honesty feels like the safest, most natural choice for them, even when it's hard. So, where do we even begin when faced with this recurring pattern of untruths? It can feel overwhelming, like trying to untangle a knotted string. Well, one of the very first things that can be incredibly helpful, a foundational step really, is to try and pause our own immediate adult reactions and instead step into their world, into their shoes, just for a moment. We need to thoughtfully consider why this might be happening, because it's rarely, if ever, as simple as them just wanting to be naughty or intentionally deceitful for the sake of it. There's almost always something deeper at play, especially at this complex age of 10. And that brings us to our first real area of exploration, trying to understand the why behind the lies, considering both their developmental stage and their emotional world. 10 is such a fascinating and sometimes perplexing age. They're not little kids anymore, but they're not quite teenagers either. They have a pretty solid understanding of right from wrong, and they know that lying is generally not the right thing to do. Yet, they're also navigating an increasingly complex social landscape, with peer pressures starting to ramp up significantly. They're developing a stronger desire for independence, to make their own choices, and sometimes to keep parts of their lives private from us. Think about it. They might lie to avoid what they perceive as an inevitable punishment, especially if consequences in the past have felt overly harsh or disconnected from the actual misdeed. They might lie because they're terrified of disappointing us, of not living up to the expectations they feel we have for them, whether those expectations are real or imagined on their part. Sometimes it's about fitting in with friends, embellishing a story to sound cooler or more experienced, or perhaps covering for a friend who's gotten into a bit of trouble. And let's not forget, their imaginations are still incredibly active. While they know the difference between make-believe and reality, sometimes the lines can get a little blurry, or a small fib can snowball as they try to maintain it. It's crucial to remember that these lies, especially when they become regular, are often a misguided coping mechanism. They're a signal, a flag, that something else is going on beneath the surface. They're still learning how to manage big emotions, fear, shame, anxiety, guilt, and how to navigate challenging situations in a healthy way. So how do we start to gently uncover these whys? Well, instead of launching into an immediate accusation when you suspect a lie, that aha, I caught you moment, try taking a breath and approaching with gentle curiosity. You could say something like, that sounds like quite an adventure. Can you tell me a little more about what happened then? This gives them a chance to elaborate. And sometimes, in the retelling, the inconsistencies become clearer, or they might even self-correct. It opens a door for conversation rather than slamming it shut with an accusation. It's also really helpful to quietly reflect on the pressures they might be under. Are our expectations for them developmentally appropriate? Are they feeling overwhelmed with schoolwork, chores, or extracurricular activities? Could it be that the fear of the consequence for, say, not doing their homework feels so immense that a lie seems like the easier, safer path in that moment? And what about their social world? Take some time to observe their friendships, the dynamics at play. Are they trying to impress someone, or are they afraid of being teased or excluded? Looking for patterns can also be incredibly revealing. Do the lies tend to cluster around specific topics? Perhaps school performance, what they did with their friends, or whether they completed a chore? These patterns are like little breadcrumbs, leading us towards a better understanding of the underlying triggers. I remember a situation with a friend's son, also around 10. He started regularly saying he'd finished his online reading assignments when he hadn't. His parents were understandably frustrated, and it was becoming a daily battle. But when his mom finally sat down with him, not in anger, but with genuine concern, and asked him to help her understand why it was so hard to get the reading done, the truth came tumbling out. He confessed he was really struggling with the comprehension, felt embarrassed to admit it, and was terrified of looking stupid or falling behind his classmates. The lies weren't about laziness or defiance. They were a shield against feelings of inadequacy and fear. Once they addressed the reading difficulty with his teacher and got him some extra support, the lying about the assignments completely stopped. It was a powerful reminder that often, the lie is just the symptom, not the core problem. Understanding this why isn't about excusing the lying, not at all. It's about equipping ourselves with the insight needed to respond in a way that actually helps, rather than just punishes. And that naturally leads us to think about how we react when we do discover a lie. Because our reaction, my friends, can make all the difference in whether they feel safe enough to eventually choose the path of truth. This brings us to our second key idea, responding with connection, not just correction, to build a genuine sense of safety for truth-telling. If a child's experience tells them that confessing a mistake or a misdeed will result in an explosion of parental anger, a lengthy lecture filled with shame, or a disproportionately severe punishment, then their self-preservation instinct might kick in, and lying can feel like the only way to protect themselves from that onslaught. Our ultimate goal here is to cultivate an environment within our homes where telling the truth, even when it's incredibly difficult and they know they've messed up, feels like a safer, more manageable option than constructing and maintaining a lie. Now, this doesn't mean there are no consequences for misbehavior or even for the lie itself. Accountability is important. But it's the way we approach these situations, the priority we place on maintaining the connection with our child through the difficulty, that matters so immensely. So what does this look like in practice? First and foremost, and I know this is often the hardest part, try to stay calm when you uncover a lie. Easier said than done, right? Especially when you're feeling hurt or disrespected. But taking a deep breath, maybe even saying, "Okay, I hear what you're saying, but something doesn't feel quite right to me. I need a moment to think about this," can give you the space to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. When you do address it, try to focus on the behavior, the act of not telling the truth, rather than attacking their character. Phrases like, "You're such a liar," are incredibly damaging and can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Instead, you could try something like, "When I feel like I'm not getting the whole story, it makes me feel worried and a bit sad, because our trust is so important to me, and I want us to always be able to count on each other." This expresses your feelings and the impact of the lie without shaming them as a person. It can also be really powerful to acknowledge the difficulty of telling the truth. You might say, "I know it can be really hard to tell the truth sometimes, especially if you're worried about getting into trouble or disappointing someone." It takes courage. This validates their internal struggle. And sometimes, especially for smaller misdeeds, or if you're trying to break a pattern of lying, you might consider offering what some call a truth amnesty, a chance for them to come clean with a significantly reduced consequence for the original issue, emphasizing that the honesty itself is being rewarded. For example, if you can tell me the truth about what happened with the situation right now, we can work through it together. The consequence for the original misdeed will be much less severe than if I find out later that you weren't straight with me. It's also helpful to clearly separate the lie from the original misbehavior. You'll likely need to address both, but help them understand that while the initial mistake might have been one thing, the choice to lie about it often creates a bigger problem because it erodes that precious trust between you. Imagine your 10-year-old accidentally broke a small, inexpensive vase and then lied, saying the cat did it. Instead of immediately launching into a tirade about the broken vase and the lie, you could try a calmer approach. "Sweetheart, I see the vase is broken. I'm really wondering what happened here. It's okay if it was an accident. Accidents happen. But it's really, really important to me that we can talk honestly about these things, even when they're a bit tricky." If they then confess, a response like, "Thank you so much for telling me the truth. I really appreciate your honesty." That takes courage. Now, let's talk about what we can do about the vase and maybe how we can all be a bit more careful in this area next time. The focus shifts to problem solving and reinforcing the value of honesty, rather than just punishment and shame. This kind of response makes it more likely that next time, they might just choose the truth from the outset. Creating that safe space for truth is so incredibly fundamental. And walking hand in hand with that, we also need to be actively and proactively teaching and modeling what honesty looks like and why it's such a cornerstone value in our family and in life. Children, especially at 10, are keen observers. They learn an immense amount by watching us, the adults in their lives. If they frequently see us tell little white lies, perhaps telling a telemarketer we're busy when we're not, or fibbing about their age to get a cheaper ticket, it sends very mixed messages about the importance of truthfulness. It can inadvertently teach them that honesty is conditional, or that it's okay to lie if it's convenient or benefits you. So it's important to be intentional about discussing the value of honesty, not just in the heat of the moment when a lie has occurred, but as an ongoing conversation, weaving it into the fabric of your family culture. You can talk openly about why being honest with each other is so important, how it builds trust, makes everyone feel safe and respected, and strengthens your family bonds. You might say something like, "In our family, we really value being able to trust each other. When we're honest, even when it's tough, it helps us feel close and know we can count on each other, no matter what." Using stories can be a wonderful way to do this. There are so many age-appropriate books, fables, or even scenes in movies that explore themes of honesty, the consequences of lying, and the rewards of integrity. You can read these together or watch them, and then have a gentle chat afterwards. What do you think about what that character chose to do? What might have happened if they had told the truth from the start? These discussions help them internalize these concepts without feeling like they're being personally lectured. And, of course, one of the most powerful ways to teach honesty is to praise it, especially when you see your child making a courageous choice to be truthful, even when it's clearly difficult for them. If they own up to forgetting a chore or admit they broke a rule, before you even address the chore or the rule, take a moment to acknowledge their honesty. Wow, thank you for telling me that you didn't get your homework done. I know that probably wasn't easy to admit, and I really appreciate you being honest with me about it. Now, let's figure out a plan to get it finished. This reinforces that their honesty is valued even more than perfection. And, perhaps most importantly, we need to be honest with our children in age-appropriate ways, of course. If we make a mistake, we should own up to it. If you promise to pick them up at a certain time and you're late, apologize sincerely and explain why, rather than making an excuse. "Oh, honey, I am so sorry I'm late. I got stuck in unexpected traffic, and I should have left a few minutes earlier. I'll try my best to plan better next time." This models accountability and shows them that everyone makes mistakes and that honesty is part of taking responsibility. You can also explain the impact of lies on relationships in simple, relatable terms. You know, when we don't tell the truth, it's like a little crack appears in the trust between us. And if lots of little cracks appear, it can make it hard for that trust to feel strong and whole. We want to keep our trust strong, like a really solid bridge between us. A friend of mine initiated something they called integrity inspirations during their family dinners once a week. It wasn't about confessing wrongdoings, but rather a chance for everyone, including the parents, to share a small example from their week where they chose honesty or acted with integrity, or even a time they were tempted not to, but managed to make the right choice. It wasn't heavy or preachy. It was just a gentle, regular way to highlight and celebrate honesty as a positive family value. It's these kinds of proactive, positive approaches that help build a strong internal moral compass. Beyond understanding why they lie, how we react, and how we consciously teach honesty, there's another incredibly powerful piece to this puzzle, and that's strengthening the overall connection and fostering truly open communication with our 10-year-olds. Often, when a child regularly resorts to lying, it can be a subtle, sometimes unconscious symptom of a deeper disconnect. If they don't feel truly seen, heard, understood, or if they feel like they don't really have a voice within the family, they might turn to less direct, less healthy ways of trying to communicate their needs, exert some control, or protect themselves. And sometimes, unfortunately, that includes lying. Building and nurturing a strong, open, and consistent line of communication where they feel genuinely connected to you and safe to be themselves can be one of an incredibly powerful antidotes to lying. So what does this look like in the busyness of everyday family life? It often starts with small, consistent efforts. Try to dedicate regular, one-on-one time with your 10-year-old, even if it's just 15 to 20 minutes a day. This isn't time for correcting or instructing. It's purely for connection. Let them choose the activity. Maybe it's shooting hoops, playing a board game, going for a walk, or just chatting while you prepare dinner together. The key is no distractions. Put down your phone, turn off the TV, and give them your undivided, focused attention. This dedicated time sends a powerful message. You are important to me. I enjoy spending time with you. I'm here for you. During these times, and in all your interactions, practice active listening. This means more than just hearing their words. It means making eye contact, nodding, putting away your own agenda for a moment, and really trying to understand the feelings and the meaning behind what they're saying. You can reflect back what you hear. So, it sounds like you were feeling really frustrated when your friend said that. Or, it sounds like you're super excited about the upcoming field trip. This shows them you're truly listening and trying to understand their perspective. encourage them to share their full range of feelings, both the positive and the negative, without fear of judgment or immediate dismissal. It's so important for them to know that it's okay to feel angry, sad, disappointed, or scared, and that they can talk to you about those feelings. You don't have to agree with the feeling or the situation that caused it, but you can validate the emotion itself. I can see why you might have felt really left out when that happened. That sounds tough. Creating family rituals or regular family meetings can also be a wonderful way to ensure everyone has a chance to share, to feel heard, and to contribute to family decisions or problem solving. It could be a weekly check-in where everyone talks about their highs and lows of the week, or a more structured meeting to discuss upcoming plans or address any recurring family challenges in a collaborative way. And finally, when they do come to you with a problem, or if you sense they're struggling with something they might be tempted to lie about to avoid, try to help them develop healthy problem-solving skills. Instead of just telling them what to do or jumping in to fix it for them, guide them through the process. Okay, so you're worried about not having your project finished on time, and you were thinking of saying you were sick. I understand that feeling of panic, but let's think, what are some other, more honest ways we could tackle this problem together? What are our options? When they feel empowered to face challenges truthfully with your support, the perceived need to lie often diminishes significantly. I recall a family who started having sofa chats right before bed. There was no set agenda, just a quiet, cozy time for the kids to unload anything that was on their minds, big or small. The mom shared with me that over several months, her son, who had previously been quite reserved and had told his fair share of fibs, began to open up more and more. The little untruths seemed to naturally fade away because he felt he had a consistent, safe, and loving space to share his real thoughts and worries without fear of judgment. That power of connection is truly transformative. Navigating this particular phase, when your bright, wonderful, and complex 10-year-old is testing boundaries, exploring their independence, and sometimes, yes, choosing untruths, is all part of the intricate, beautiful, and at times utterly bewildering journey of being a parent. It's so important to remember that this isn't about achieving some kind of impossible perfection, either in our children or in ourselves as parents. None of us have all the answers all the time. Instead, it's about our commitment to staying present with them, about making that heartfelt effort to understand the precious heart and the developing mind that lies beneath the behavior, and about consistently choosing to lead with connection and compassion, even and perhaps especially when it feels really, really tough. Please remember, these challenges, these moments that test our patience and our wisdom, are so often opportunities in disguise. They are invitations to lean in, to listen more deeply, to understand our children on a new level, and in doing so, to strengthen the very fabric, the very heart of our family. Each time you choose curiosity over accusation, connection over correction, you are laying another brick in the foundation of trust and open communication that will serve your child and your relationship with them for a lifetime. You are absolutely not alone in this. So many of us walk this path with its unexpected twists and turns, its moments of joy, and its periods of concern. Trust in your innate ability to guide your child with love, with patience, and with growing wisdom. The very fact that you're here, watching this, seeking ways to connect more deeply and understand more fully, speaks volumes about your incredible commitment and your deep love for your child. Every small, intentional step you take towards fostering an environment of honesty, towards patiently rebuilding trust where it's been frayed, and towards strengthening that unbreakable bond you share, is a truly powerful investment. It's an investment in your child's character, in their future well-being, and in the enduring warmth and resilience of your family life. Keep leading with your heart, keep seeking understanding, and know that you are making a difference. If this conversation resonated with you today, or if you found a little something helpful or reassuring in our chat, we'd be so grateful if you'd give this video a like. And if you know another parent, another caregiver, who might be navigating similar waters and could use a bit of support, please feel free to share it with them. We would absolutely love for you to subscribe and become part of our Family Connection Hub community. It's a space where we can continue to support each other, share our experiences, and learn and grow together on this incredible, ever-evolving parenting adventure. Thank you so much for being here with us today.